One of the responsibilities of Hasidic rabbis was to travel across Europe and collect funds for their yeshivas from the various towns all over Eastern Europe and the Pale of Settlement. They would get in their coaches and go from town to town, and in each town they would deliver discourses and answer questions, and of course they would also attend banquets in which their great learning was praised and their great virtues were extolled. And while they were attending these festivities, the drivers would attend to the coaches and make sure that the horses were fed and the coaches were in good working order until it was time to go to the next town. And some of these journeys took months until they finished and collected enough money for the yeshiva's sustenance. Well, Rabbi Pinchas of Koretz was one of these Chasidic rabbis, and the story is told that at the end of one such long journey, he noticed that Shulam, his driver, was very sad. He seemed to be depressed. And he asked Shulam, we're about to be home soon. I should think you would be overjoyed. You would be happy that we're nearing the end of our journey. And Shulam said, yes, Rebbe, I'm very happy. I'm elated that we will be home soon. But, you know, I'm sad that I have never once in my life experienced the great joy and the adulation that you receive at every single town. They sing your praises and they practically worship you. I just once in my life would like to know what that feels like to be idolized by an entire town of Jews. And the Rebbe said, you know, Shalom, we have only one more town to go to. Why don't we do this? Let's change places. You put on the clothes of the Rebbe, and I will put on the clothes of the simple wagon driver, and you be Rabbi Pinchas of Koretz, and I'll be Shulam, the wagon driver, and just once you'll be able to experience it for yourself. Would you do this, Rebbe? Oh, thank you. And they changed clothes, and they came into town, and of course, the town, not knowing what Rabbi Pinchas of Koretz actually looked like, took the Rebbe and gave him all the honors and sang his praises and threw a banquet and showed him all the great honor that they should accord the great Rabbi Pinchas of Koretz. But then at a certain point they sat down with him and said, Rabbi Pinchas, we have a great and difficult question that has torn the town and caused us great anguish, a great difficult Talmudic question that none of the rabbis have been able to answer. Could you please answer this question for us? And Rav Pinchas said, certainly, ask the question. Let me hear this question, this great difficult question. And they asked the question. Meanwhile, the real Rav Pinchas was asleep in the wagon. They asked the question, and Shulam listened very carefully, stroked his beard, and said at the end, This is the difficult question? Why, in Koretz, every simpleton can answer this question. Why, even Shulam, my wagon driver, can answer this question. Call Shulam in here. Shulam, come in. Listen to what these people consider a difficult question. And they posed the same question to Shulam, and of course, Shulam answered the question. And the people said, wow, Koretz must be truly a great learned city. We must give them an even greater contribution to the yeshiva. And when they drove away, Rav Pinchas and Shulam spoke to one another and said, well, it was very good, Rav Pinchas said, that you thought quickly on your feet and were able to realize that it was good to call me in. And Shulam said, Rebbe, perhaps we should do this again and do the same thing in the next town. And Rav Pinchas said, but there's one thing you're not thinking about, Shulam. we can never go back to that town again. And Shalom thought, you're right, Rebbe, we never can.